What's up, everybody? It's that time again. It's time for the Sports Minion Radio Show. It's 2 o'clock on Wednesday. Happy to have everybody with us. Unfortunately, as of right now, we are not on Let Go Radio. We are just doing the show on Facebook Live. Apparently, some things have come up. I haven't gotten notification or anything yet, so we're just going to go with Facebook today. Not sure what's going on, but we're going to roll with it, as they say in show business. So very happy to have everybody with us right now, and welcome to the Sports Minion Radio Show. So we got a couple of things to cover. Hey, Master Jack Dart, how's it going? How's it going? Speaking of which, June 1st, June 1st, Battle of the Seven Cities, the Martial Arts Championship. All styles are welcome. Going to be June 1st at St. Patrick's Catholic School. It's going to be at 1000 Bowling Avenue, and that's going to be Norfolk, Virginia, 23508. Be aware of towing if parking in the neighborhood. Only 30 minutes from the Virginia Beach oceanfront. No defending grand champion this year. Men's grand champion, $400 and a belt. Women's grand champion, $400 and a belt. Weapons versus empty hands grand, $300 and a belt. We have the bicycle grand for 12 and under, 13 to 17 also. So y'all get there quick because it's going to fill up fast. I'm telling you, registration starts at 8:30 and the black belt meeting starts at 10. Y'all get ready because it's going to be a – oh, actually, Master Dark just let us know additional parking on West, I believe that's Moreland. That's there is additional parking there. I'm sure he'll have signs up to let you know, but there is additional parking there. That tournament is only 3 days away, and yours truly going to be competing hard and competing fast, so y'all know how we do. It's actually also at and I want to make sure I pronounce this right. It look Laramocho and Elm. I hope I pronounced that right. Yep, I got it. And hopefully he's going to have the signs out there to let y'all know. But again, the gym entrance is in the back of the building, so make sure not to park in the front. It is in the back, so make sure that y'all know that it's going to be parked in the back of the gymnasium, not in the front. And he will have signs out for that. Also, just to let you know, we've got some other things coming up. June 17th to August 23rd. The Tiger Martial Arts Summer Camp. That is 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. That is ages 5 to 13 years of age. The prices include the camp, one karate class per day, field trips. For more information on pricing and the advantages of the summer camp, you can call Tiger Martial Arts, 757-488-3882. Again, that's 757-488-3882. Okay? Great thing for kids to come out and get some energy and have some fun and learn a great discipline and maybe get into something for possibly the rest of their lives, because martial arts to me, as I said before, is not just a class, it is a lifestyle. So July 14th, the launch of the Kelly's Choice Cares anniversary is from 4 to 7, and that is at 6212 Jefferson Avenue. Again, that's July 14th. That's going to be the actual Kelly's Choice Cares launch. So we're going to be happy to have that and happy to have that going on. Wanted to let you guys know all about that, so make sure that you're there to support us, and that is at the radio station. Finally, November 16th, the Kelly's Choice Cares Kelly's Choice Cares Caregivers Gala is going to be at 6801 Bridgeway Drive in Suffolk. That is right across the street from where we were at the CP conference. It's going to be the Hub 757 is where we're going to be for that. And it's going to be 4 to 7 on that, and possibly 8. It may run just a little bit longer. So we've got some extra time in there. But those are the things that we've got coming up. But going back to for the Battle of the Seven Cities again, real quick, $10 spectator fee to get in, cash only, no checks, no refunds. So once y'all get in, y'all stay in there, because I'm telling you, he's got so much stuff going on, and it is an awesome tournament. This is my 9th as I announced the week before last, it's probably going to be my last for a while because I am specifically training to become a black belt. And I just got an update here. Give me just a second to read this as I go through here. Let me see what we got. That would be okay. All right, so we're on Facebook right now, and Skype apparently on the other end is being a little bit sluggish, so we're going to stay right where we are. Again, thank y'all for tuning in, and sorry that things are going on right now with the technical difficulties on the radio end, but we are on Facebook Live, and I do apologize for that. We're working on getting things going, but right now we're just going to be on Facebook, so just bear with us. Welcome, Elizabeth. Hey, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. All right, so I want to cover a couple things in my top story today. We've actually had a legend in the football world pass away, and I really was saddened to hear this. Packers quarterback Bart Starr died at the age of 85. I just want to read a little bit of this. The Green Bay Packers announced Saturday that franchise legend and Pro Football Hall of Famer Bart Starr died earlier in the day at the age of 85. His health had been failing since he suffered a stroke earlier in 2014. We are all saddened. We are saddened to note the passing of our husband, father, grandfather, and friend. Bart Starr read a message from the former quarterback's family, and I got to tell you, winning 5 national championships, including Super Bowl 1 and 2. I mean, to be able to say that you were there, and you're talking about Vince Lombardi, the coach. I mean, you've got so many great names that were in that game. And Bart Starr carried that franchise, and they had one heck of a defense and offense and things going on. I got to tell you, that was way before my time, but I can tell you right now, my grandfather's smiling up in heaven because he's shaking hands with Bart Starr right now. I can tell you that. To be able to and the career that he had, I mean, to be, in 77, he was a Hall of Famer. So, I mean, as far as, to see something like that, and for years, people wanted to be like, Bart Starr, and you've got, Johnny U back in that time. So, I mean, the quarterbacks that really stood out, and kind of paved the way for the younger generation to come in. And I'm saddened by it, but I'm actually happy because that's one person that my grandfather talked about, before Brett Favre and before that big era there. He talked about Bart Starr quite a bit, and he idolized him. We had quite a few conversations that I can remember with my grandfather about Bart Starr and about the early Packers, And that was when they had the leather helmets and there wasn't a bunch of protection and, concussions and all this stuff. And I got to tell you, the way it is now, the way they protect the players now, I wonder if they would have done that, back in, the 40s and 50s and in that time, as far as to play with the protection that they have now. Of course, the technology was different too. So, but, in honor of Bart Starr, I know, we're all saddened by it, but great player, great man, and apparently from the article I was reading, great father and friend and grandfather. So a lot of emotional support there in that situation. So basically, I want to just say my condolences to the Packers because I know that he will be missed. And he lived a good life, though. 85 is a good long life, and that's something that people don't understand. Once it, people are dying at 40 and 50, and it's rough. So he lived a good life, and he left his legacy on the field for many others to follow in his footsteps. And they quarterbacks like that paved the way for the National Football League to be as it is today. All right, so I want to talk about a couple things. Speaking of football, and I want to get this story out here. I want to talk about, first of all, Ezekiel Elliott. And again, I've said this so many times. Guys, just play the game. Stuff like this right here bothers me. This doesn't need to be in professional football. The Las Vegas security guard who was shoved into a metal gate by Ezekiel Elliott wants a genuine response from the Dallas Cowboys running back. I did get an apology from him. It wasn't sincere, a sincere apology. 19-year-old Kevin Johnson told CBS Los Angeles. He didn't maintain eye contact. It didn't seem sincere at all. Elliott was briefly handcuffed but not arrested after getting into an argument with the woman who was identified as his girlfriend and then physically confronting Johnson. The altercation took place May 19th at a music festival. I wasn't hurt or anything, but I just have, let's see, I'm sorry, I wasn't hurt or anything, but just to have someone you look up to shove you on the ground over a metal fence, Johnson said, it's not the biggest thing in the world, but really, to say nothing happened, I mean, come on. All right, let me say a couple things here first. We've talked about this for a while. I believe in professionalism in this game. When you are an NFL athlete, you have to, number one, restrain yourself from competition. And it's hard because you have no privacy. And I'm not making excuses for Elliott at all. But you've got to maintain yourself as a professional athlete. You cannot shove somebody and into a fence or get into a competition. It's going to be noticed instantaneously, especially with a populated area. You're in the middle of a music festival. You've got to be better than that. You are one of the main cogs or main pieces in the NFL that plays for supposedly America's team, okay? And yet you now do this. And what does that do? This stuff right here that you're seeing, a cloud kind of hangs over because I got to be honest. When stuff like this carries over to training camp and veterans and rookies and the players that are playing, look at all this stuff. We have got to become better players and better examples for the youth that want to get in here, the guys that are drafted and making all this money. You've got to set a good example and putting your hands on somebody instead of talking it out like grown adults, because that's what they are. And Mr. Johnson is not going crazy over this thing. And it's like he said, it's not the biggest deal in the world, and that's his quote, not mine. But you still have to show that you're the bigger and better man. And that's a common sense thing. I was always told, never start a fight, but be able, but if somebody puts their hands on you, you got to defend yourself. There's a difference when you have a problem and you can't talk to somebody and say, look, this is my bad. This is what happened. Let's talk it out. No big deal. Handle it the right way and set a positive example for yourself and set a positive example for your team. And it carries over into training camp and things like that. And then you have positive momentum instead of negative momentum. And that makes it easier. Guys, if you want to call in and comment on this, you can call 757-774-7552. And I don't know if we're going to get Let Go Radio up or not on this, but we are working on it. As I say, we are on Facebook Live right now. All right, in other news and moving right along from that, I want to talk about something, and this is Richie Incognito, the player that was signed by the Raiders and released from Buffalo. Now, this goes into the same thing of play the game, do your job, and act like a man. Don't act like an immature little boy. And those are my words. That's what it is. That's what I'm calling it, and that's where I'm going. Okay, the reason I'm going to say this, let me read a little bit of this and let me explain a couple things. 4-time Pro Bowler, Pro Bowl guard Richie Incognito finalized his return to the NFL By signing a contract with the Oakland Raiders, the team announced Incognito, who hasn't played in the NFL since 2017 campaign, announced his intention to retire last spring, but changed his mind days later. He was eventually released by the Buffalo Bills. Amid a mid-contract dispute, and wasn't picked up by another team at any point during the season. Incognito, 35, received 3 straight Pro Bowl nods with the Bills from 2015 to 2017, and earned another selection in 2012 as a member of the Miami Dolphins. Though he's been an asset on the field for much of his career, Incognito has had plenty of baggage off of it. He was at the center of the Dolphins' bullying scandal involving Jonathan Martin in 2013, was accused of hurling racial slurs at Jacksonville Jaguars defensive end, I can't pronounce that, Yankee Naoga, in 2017-2018 playoffs, and was arrested last August after threatening to shoot employees at a funeral home following the death of his father. All right, now let me stop right here, because I'm going to say this, and okay, when you lose a family member, things happen. Emotions run high. Things go crazy. I get it. I understand. I have lost a lot of family members in the last year to a year and a half, and losing a father or mother is the toughest thing one of the toughest things you'll ever have to go through. But again, you were a 4-time Pro Bowler with 2 teams. This racial stuff. Play football. Shut your mouth and play the game. If you have a problem, settle it, but settle it the right way. If you've got to go to counseling, if you've got to talk to somebody, if you've got to do it without throwing social media and everything else into this. Social media is already big. Things are already happening around this world that social media, when you are a player, anything you do or say is jumped on automatically, and the media can blow it up or make it bigger than it actually is. And DJ can voice crack on camera, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. That's what the Sports Minion does. Moving on. I don't know if I have seen, I'm going to give you a plain example. Look at Antonio Brown right now. He's moved from the Pittsburgh Steelers to the Raiders. He says, look, I'm here to work. I'm going to take whatever comes. I'm going to learn this offense. Very business. It's time to play the game, shut your mouth, and do what you got to do. And Mike Mayock said this. We've spoken with Richie. He knows what we expect as a team and an organization, and we expect him to follow that. I'm going to tell you right now, Mike Mayock don't play. Mike Mayock don't play at all. He's been a great college coach. He's been an NFL analyst. He's been on the draft. He's got the experience. Now, I'm going to tell you this. He said you can't always have just Boy Scouts, okay? And I'm paraphrasing there. That's not an exact quote. You need a little bit of mean. You need a little bit of edge. You need to not – and an NFL analyst said this. Someone called it the jerk of the team, not saying that he is just that extra edge. That's fine. You can have that extra edge, and I understand that. The problem is when you go over the line and you start hurling racial slurs and threatening people, and you become a thorn in the side of a team, and you're causing disgruntledness in the locker room, that is a problem. Because not only does it affect you, it affects how your team plays around you, and it affects what happens in the locker room. Because when a player or players lose faith in you as a leader, that's a problem. And that makes it harder for a team to go and say, okay, I want to sign this guy. You don't go to the Pro Bowl by doing nothing. You have to do a lot to get into the Pro Bowl, and Richie Incognito has done that. As a guard, it is tough to get into the Pro Bowl because there's so many others that do what you do, and he has stepped on the field and done great things. But when you have controversy off the field, and I've said this at the beginning of the show, it goes with you. It carries with you. And that's something that really you can't let it define you, because things that happen, things that happen are just that, and you've got to move on from it. That's one thing. But to be able to sit there and say, okay, as far as that is concerned, I cannot believe that athletes on a professional level cannot act like professionals, and that to me is a problem. That it's a problem. All right, so again, and this is everywhere. I mean, I can sit here and say that things happen, and I'm not in there, so I don't know. Everybody gets heated, but you've got to handle the situation professionally, as we've talked about. All right, we're going to move away from football for a minute. I want to talk about the Washington Nationals, the baseball team, for a little bit. I want to go over a couple things. They have been struggling as of late, but they had a great series against the Marlins. They took 3 out of 4. They played against Atlanta the other day. They won yesterday, as a matter of fact. They won 5-4. And I got to say, they're starting to bounce back a little bit. And here's the thing. Everybody has said, oh, it's management. It's management. This has to happen. This player needs to go. This person needs to go. Here's the thing. When you look at a professional team, whether it's baseball, whether it's football, whether it's soccer, whether it's golf, coaches can only do but so much. To sit here and say that, you're going to put the player in the position he needs to be in, okay, execution has to happen. Managers and coaches can train you all day long, whether it's martial arts, whether it's golf, or whatever it is. Managers and coaches can train you all day long. You can go out, do the exercises, and run the routes, and catch the ball and catch pop flies all day long, and you can do it in practice. But if you cannot execute it at game time, that is not the coach's fault. Where the coach has to decide and the manager has to decide is if you don't execute enough, and you're constantly not executing, and things are constantly falling behind, and which has been happening the last, I would say, 15 to 20 games with the Nationals, to where the little things, the routine things that you do every day become a problem, then you've got to go back to basics. You've got to look at, a lot of times, Trey Turner is one of the best players on the Nationals team that I've seen in a long time. And they've got a lot of good players. My personal favorite is Victor Robles. I love everything he does. Howie Kendrick is another great player. Looking at what they do, Turner missed a ground ball, a routine ground ball. He was actually, a routine pop-up. He was going back to get it, and it was over by the left field line, I believe. He was going back to the fence to get it, and he stepped back and leaned and had it, and the ball fell out of his glove. He was going back before he ever had full possession of the baseball, and he doesn't do that. And you could see the look on his face when he did it and dropped it. That was a routine out to get a pitcher out of an inning who was already struggling, and that it didn't happen. So you've got to be able to sit there and say, what is this about? What's happening? Is it the players? Is it the coaches? I think it's a little bit of everything, because you have to have execution, but you've got to know when to make a play and when not. I understand, Kurt Suzuki, is catching. He's been catching well, and things are happening good now for the Nationals. They've been for the last couple of games. Like I said, they took the series against the Marlins 3 out of 4, and they won the first game against Atlanta. They play again today. And it's the little things. It's not necessarily about home runs. It's not necessarily about, being able to jack the ball out of the park and score, 4 runs on one hit. What it is, in fact, though, and what it's about is being able to put the ball in play where nobody is, because all you need to do for a baseball situation is get runners into scoring position and bring them in 90 feet to 90 feet. If you've got to simplify the game, that's exactly what you need to do. And that's the way it should be. Simplify the game, make it easy, make it short, go with it, and see where you are. Just you've got to do the little things right, and then the big things will start happening. Now, the big problem that I saw, especially in the last, I'd say maybe 15 games, was when the offense was productive, the defense wasn't. And when the defense was productive, the offense wasn't. We were having trouble getting hits. Now that's not happening. We're starting to see the ball better. Here's the issue. I think one of the biggest issues we have with our bullpen, Kyle Bearclaw, who is a reliever in the bullpen, is not that great to me. Now, he does some good things, but if you can get 2 outs consistently and you have trouble getting the third. Now, he did well against that third game against the Marlins. He got the 3 outs and got out of the inning. But again, if players are getting on base and you're getting hits against you and you cannot control your slider and your fastball and your changeup, that's a problem. And we need to realize this guy is not getting it done. And if it's a consistent problem, that is where managers need to step in and say, look, this is what's happening. This is the problem that's going on. We need to make this situation go away. Now, I will tell you, one of the best players I think the Nationals picked up is, I want to make sure I say this right, Tanner Rainey. This young man is an awesome reliever pitcher. He throws the fastball on average at 97 miles an hour. And that's his average. He's thrown as high as 102. I don't care who you are. That's Nolan Ryan smoke on that ball if you were throwing at 102 miles an hour. That's a great, and not only is he a good pitcher, but he has got great movement and great location. And my question is, they're letting him play 1 inning. I'm wondering why they're not starting this kid. This kid has, and if they can get him in the rotation, because right now Rosenthal is out. We've got 4 pitchers on the DL. We're getting ready to get some back this week. I know, there's been and while they're out, why not move him up and put him in the rotation and let him pitch a couple of innings and really see what he can do? Because to me, every time this kid steps in the game, magical things happen. Again, guys, if you want to comment on this, you can join us on Facebook Live. You can call in to the radio station, 757-774-7552. Again, I'm sorry we're not on Let Go Radio today, but we can patch you in through the phone call there if you want to do that. And we're going to get this played on the radio here as soon as we get everything working. I apologize for the technical difficulties on this. The other thing is, the last thing I want to talk about sports-wise is it's tough to come out of a streak when you're losing. And Master Dark has said this to me 100 times. You can go to a tournament and you're going to lose more than you win. That's going to happen. And I remember this. As a matter of fact, it's stuck in my brain the last time I talked with him. When you start winning, you're going to hit a streak. And that often happens a lot, to where a person hits a streak and they continue to roll, or they get on a roll. And when you're hot, you're hot. And when you're not, you're not. And now that the Nationals are 9.5 games back, it is going to be tough to even get to 500, because you're 9.5 games back in the division. And you've got to figure out, even to get to 500, that's going to be your biggest battle. So you've got to start taking little chunks and little pieces and doing those basic things to keep things going and to keep it where it is. So All right, I want to read a couple of emails that I got, and I'm not sure if Corey's still with us or not, because I'll mention this to him as well. I got an email. His name is Zach, and he is from Charlottesville, Virginia, and he asked me this question, and I teared up when I read the email because it's very emotional, and I love the fact that he actually sent it to me because it makes me happy to see fans like this. He says, "Hey, DJ, my name is Zach. I love your show. Thank you." Let's see. "Hey, DJ, my name is Zach. I love your show. Thank you for doing the show every week. It's fun. We enjoy it. Is Chuck coming back?" That's the first question he asked. He said, the second thing he said is this. He said, "I'm 25 years of age." He said, "Right now, I live with my mom and dad. I suffer from let me make sure I'm a quadriplegic. I'm paralyzed from the waist down." He said, "This is hard for me to talk about because I love my parents." He said, "But my parents never let me do anything on my own. My parents continue to do things for me when I don't want them to do that. I want to do things for myself. I want to live on my own. I want to be the man that I was born to be. Is it hard for parents to let go? Do my parents not believe in me, or do they just not think I can do it? What can I do to make them understand that I want to be on my own, but I still love them? Please help, Zach from Charlottesville, Virginia." Zach, let me first start off by saying thank you for writing this email. Number one. Number two, for a parent to have a child with a disability or special needs is very difficult. Okay, and my mom, I thank God every day for her and my family that supported me through everything. It's very hard when parents get into a routine, because parents do it too. Parents will. I've heard it called babying. I was told that I was baby when I was a child, and I believe it, because when you have a disability, parents, believe it or not, they suffer as much as you do, because they go through the pain that you're going through. They experience 10 times harder because they're suffering, because you're suffering, and they want to make it better, and often they can't. So they try to make life easier. The best thing I can offer, and the best thing I can say with this, is communicate with your parents. You have to talk to them. You're 27 years old, and the email that you wrote me, you are obviously able to communicate your feelings. You need to sit your mom and your dad down and say, "Listen, I love you guys, and I want to thank you for everything you've done for me." Now, I can't tell you exactly how to say it. If it were me and I was having a struggling situation with this, I would sit down with my parents, obviously, because that's what I do, and I'm good at it, sitting down. See what I did there? All right, so we can both rely to that. You sit down too. It's okay, Zach. We can laugh about that a little bit. It's hard, because if you push too hard, they're going to get angry. And what you don't want is an angry situation here. The fact that you want to do things by yourself and you want to figure things out by yourself is honorable, because a lot of people in your situation would take that help and take advantage of it. Okay? Everybody does it for a little bit because you get used to having things done for you. Most people understand what I mean by take advantage of it. The best thing that you can do or what I would do in this situation, I don't want to say the best thing that you can do. What I would do in this situation, I would sit down and say, "Listen, I love you guys, and I really appreciate, what you've done for me. That we're together, but I want to be able to do things for myself." And start with small things. Don't jump down their throat and say, "You don't let me do this. You don't let me do this." Don't do that. Tell them the things that you would like to do, and explain to them why. Explain to them what you want to do with your life, that you want to be more independent, and explain to them that that's not a bad thing, and acknowledge that they're scared. Because I can tell you, parents are going to be scared. This happens. This type of thing, as far as with independence, it's hard for parents to let even a child of of 25, 35, 45. It's hard for parents to let go when they've been doing something, like this for 25 years. It's hard to break that routine. The only thing that I can say in response to that, in order for you to grow individually as a man, in order for you to grow spiritually, in order for you to let yourself live, you're going to have that conversation. You're going to have to, sit down and talk with them, and it needs to be a gentle conversation. You don't want to yell and scream and be, hey, Ronald, thanks for joining us, man. I appreciate it. Welcome to the Sports Minion Radio Show. You don't want to be the type of person that says, hey, I can do this on my own. You do this to me. You're my parents. Why do you do this? It is hard for parents to understand that do things for people all the time. They get in that routine. They may not even realize that they're doing this. They may not even realize that they're taking away your independence. But if you talk to them kindly with kind words, and you speak with them and you say, listen, guy, like I said, I love you. I want to thank you for everything you've done, but I want to be more independent. Write out a list of things that you want to do. Write out a list of places that you want to go, because no matter what disability you have, you are able to have some form of independence. Now, you got to understand their part too. Some things are going to be hard for you to be independent with. So when they come back with a rebuttal, don't become defensive, because I do it too. And Chuck and I, earlier you asked, was Chuck coming back to the show? Yes, he is. Right now he has to help my mom with some things. And he told me to go ahead and do what I needed to do today. So he will be back on the show, but he's not here today. He will be back. I do want to address that. We're not having any problems or anything. We just have a lot of things going on, and it's very busy around this time. So, I mean, as far as that is concerned, and that's very true, Elizabeth. Most parents will always protect their children, but the problem is sometimes you can become overprotective without realizing it, and it's not necessarily a bad thing to protect your children. I don't want to go into this and say, oh, don't protect your children, because that's valuable, because they have some people that have disabilities that don't get protected. They're flung out in the world, and they're expected to fend for themselves. And I thank God that didn't happen to me. I thank God that I had the support group that I had for a mother and grandparents, and that really stepped in. And like I said, my father made some mistakes, but I'm not going to sit there and condemn him for everything, because he's done some good things as well. You can't sit there and say it's always one person, it's equal. And sometimes it's hard for parents to see that they're not necessarily smothering a child, but they're not letting that child try to be independent and to think for themselves. So I hope that answered the question. I've got a couple emails I want to get in here. Okay, let's see. This one is from Kay, and she's from Richmond. I got an email from Richmond. My name is Kay. I'm 23 years old. I have cerebral palsy. She says she has spastic cerebral palsy. She says, I want to be able to drive, but driving scares the heck out of me. I'm very spastic, and I'm able to use hand controls, but I do not like driving. What recommendations would you make? What if I don't drive? Is that wrong? How can I get better at this? Please help. Kay from Richmond, Virginia. All right, Kay, let me address this real quick. I want to go through just a couple things and say you and me are kind of in the same boat. Hey, Curtis, thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. Welcome to the Sports Minion Radio Show. All right, want to just address the question again. Is it okay that you don't drive? Is it okay that you don't like driving? You can use hand controls, but you have spastic cerebral palsy. Let me back up for a minute. I've had cerebral palsy my whole life, and I have my license, okay? I do not drive, and I'm going to tell you something. I don't like it. Driving, I don't feel comfortable with it. It scares me because it's not me that I'm worried about. It's me hurting other people that I'm worried about. Now, some will say that's fear, and it is. It can be fearful, and I shouldn't let fear control things. Now, the other point on this is when you realize that you're not comfortable with something, you have to accept the consequences of that. If you realize that you're not going to drive, you have to be aware of the public transportation in your community. You have to know that you're going to depend on other people a lot to get you where you need to go. I'm going through this myself. Sometimes it is very difficult to get where you need to go. And if you're not going to drive, you have to be willing to accept that fact and realize to use all of your resources that are around you, whether it's public transportation, whether it's trolleys, whether it's buses, whether it's vans. Find out what public communication is in your, public transportation is in your area. Find out if there are wheelchair accessible taxis. Find out if your insurances will cover rides. Talk to people in your area. If you have somebody that is close, that lives with you, talk with them about going to the grocery store. Talk to the people in your neighborhood. There are tons of ways to get things done. Now, on the other hand, I can drive. I can drive well. I can drive, down. Driving is not really the issue. I'm restricted from internet driving. Wow. I'm restricted from interstate driving, but I'm able to drive on, the non-interstate roads. Where I have a problem is parking. The very first day I got my license and got my insurance, I drove home from my job and I hit my house and did $3,000 worth of damage, and it scared me for life, and I haven't driven really much since. I have some, but I've got to tell you, it's rough when you don't drive, and when you know that you can, but there are pieces that are in the way. It's tough to get over that. So some people that don't drive, you have to know, be aware of transportations, like I said, in your area, and know what you have to do. But it's a tough road, but you can get through it. So you may want to talk with your parents, like I said, find out about that public transportation, see where you can go, see what you can do from there, in the same sense. Now, let me ask my viewers, and I know two of the viewers that I believe that I have on right now don't drive. Curtis, in your area, are there a lot of is there a lot of transportation in your area? I mean, as far as with getting buses and things like that, do you have a bus system that runs in your area? I'm not 100% sure on that. Ronald, I don't know if you drive or not, or if you've looked at it or run into that problem. But how do you get around that if that's the case? So while you're waiting, while I'm waiting on those answers, and while I'm trying to get the comments from that, I want to read this last email, and I saved this one for last because it's just so darn cute. And I'm a sucker for cute things, and this one got me. I actually choked up when I read this. Her name is Haley, and she's from Boston, Massachusetts. She's 8 years old. She says, "Hi, DJ. My name is Haley. I listen to your show I listen to you and Chuck every Wednesday on Let Go Radio. I have listened to every episode that I could if my mom lets me and I'm not busy doing something." She said, "I'm 8 years old. I'm in the second grade, and I would like to know, what challenges did you face in school? Right now, I have a lot of trouble getting to class on time because of my wheelchair. My chair is very heavy. I have a manual chair. It's very heavy and hard to push. Sometimes I have to get people to push me to get where I need to go, and sometimes I have to have my aid." All right, let me go ahead and read this real quick while Curtis just replied to, that's a good point, Jack. That's another one. I didn't even think about that. Use Lyft or Uber. That's a good one too. I'm not sure if there are areas that they have disabled accommodations for Uber. I know they're working on that in some of the bigger cities. I'm not sure if Lyft has it. I have to investigate that myself. That is a great point. Curtis said, not really, but I'm within walking distance of most places. There's a local bus system, though. Again, that's great to take advantage of. In Elizabeth sent a little horsey with a saddle. That's good too. So you may want to do that. I want to mention this. Yeah, there are a lot of ways, and again, sometimes, even I'm not aware of everything. So find out what's in your area. But Haley, let me explain something. This is very sweet. She said, what can I do? Sometimes my aide has to help me. Thank you and take care. Haley from Boston, Massachusetts. Okay, Haley, let me explain something. One of the first things that you can do, and you might want to talk to your mom about this. There is something called an IEP, which is it's a specific education plan that your mom or dad can help you set up as you go through school. And being disabled, I'm pretty sure that you have one, but an IEP basically can state that you can have an extra set of books to have at home so that you don't have to carry your books around. You can have your books in the classrooms already. The only books that you have to carry are your school books that you use in your locker. Also, there's a lot of unique little saddlebags and things like that you can have on the side of your chair versus the let's see. Oh, nice. Okay. All right. But there are saddlebags there that you can get that go on the side of your chair, not on the back. Ronald says, I do sell cars for those in wheelchairs and everybody else. Awesome. We will definitely leave your information in the comments there, Ronald, if you will, and just direct them on where where your lot is and that kind of thing. And we can maybe get some publicity out there too, just to let these guys know. But that's an awesome thing too, because I tell you, those cars are expensive. The wheelchair vans and things like that are very expensive, and there needs to be, I believe, those cars need to be cheaper in general because those cars start out at $40,000 to $50,000, and those are expensive, especially the newer ones coming in with wheelchair vans and things like that. So but the cars are usually a little bit cheaper. Yeah, individual education plan. Thank you, Curtis. I appreciate that. So basically, let your mom know that you want to make sure that you put in your IEP or individual education plan that you can have an extra set of books. And also, it's okay to get pushed sometimes. You're going to need a little bit of help. And everybody needs help sometimes, even me. Don't worry about that. Don't feel bad for getting help, because you need to get to classes on time and make sure to get that education that you need and get in those classes and learn and be the best young lady that you want to be, because you can be anything you want if you put your mind to it. And when you grow up, you're going to know that. You're going to grow up to be a fine young lady, and you keep fighting and doing what you want to do. There are power chair options. There are wheelchair assist power, what they call power assist chairs that you can have that can help you push yourself, but doesn't take away the full independence. The only problem is that you have to charge the wheels every night. So I hope that helps. And thank you very much, Haley, for watching the show every week. And we hope that you still tune in to the Sports Minion Radio Show every Wednesday at 2 o'clock. All right, guys, one more thing I want to cover, and this is I've got an actual funny email here. It says it does not show where he's from, and he says, my name is Joe. He says, I am 17 years old. You rock. Chuck is funny. Sometimes DJ is funny too. I wanted to let you both know that I think you should fight on that I think you should fight live on Facebook and see who would win. Yours truly, your friend Joe. Wow. All right. I will let Chuck know that, and we will see if we can accommodate that request for you on Facebook Live. Sorry, guys. Man, that is funny. Oh, well, we do fight a lot, but I can guarantee you I won't win. My brother's a little bit too big. As much martial arts as I know, he knows it too, and I think I'd be in trouble there. I may have to call Jack on that one. But we will see what happens. But I want to take just a few minutes, and I want to say thank you to the fans of this show. The last show that I put up is over 900 views. I have not had a video with over 900 views in my entire life. The most I've ever seen is 350 to 400, and that was my last karate demonstration. The last two shows I have put up have hit 900, 903, I believe, was the last one, and the last one before episode 13 was 600 and something. So I got to take a minute just to say thank you very much to the fans that have watched, to the people that are sharing this video, to the people that are actually commenting and doing different things. I really appreciate. Yeah. I gotta tell you, Curtis, we might be able to sell some tickets to that one. DJ versus Chuck, Battle of the Sports Minion, July 2019. Get your tickets now. I like that a lot. That's a great comment. But, because, as I was saying, I enjoy doing this show, and it's a lot of fun. And we do cover sports, and we cover a lot of issues that are going on. And I have to take a minute just to thank all the fans that are watching. Ronald became a new fan of the show. I really, I got a message from him and a call from him that was, it makes me feel so good to be able to inspire people and to really get people to watch. And again, it was a great thing. So I just have to take a minute to say thank you guys, because it means so much to me to be able to do this and to reach people and to get these emails. Guys, please keep these emails coming. You can email me at thesportsminionradioshow@yahoo.com. Be sure to follow us on YouTube at The Sports Minion Radio Show, and that's on YouTube. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at The Sports Minion Radio Show at Minion Sports. I gave the email address there, so we make sure just to tune in. You can see us every Wednesday at 2 o'clock on www.letgoradio.net and on Facebook Live. If you want to call in and talk to us, I've gotten a couple of call-ins. It's 757-774-7552. And again, I apologize today for not being on the radio, but we had some technical difficulties come up, and we weren't able to. But we were on Facebook Live. Guys, make sure that you tune in to the Battle of the Seven Cities. And also, I'm going to get there will be filming there. I know Miss Winnie and I know Mr. Wilson are going. I know Jack's going to be there because he's the promoter, and he's going to have the suit on. I got to find out what suit you're going to wear, Jack. I got to know. It's coming up in 3 days. I know it's going to be beautiful. So we're going to have some photography. We're going to have some pictures, some videos. I've got my buddy Steve going with me, so we'll definitely get some videos there. I know Mr. Hunter's probably going to show up. Rick Roman's probably going to show up. Guys, get ready because it's going to be great. I am going to cut the show a little bit short today because that's basically all I've got. I want to say thank y'all very much. I love you guys. I really appreciate you tuning in. Please keep those emails and questions coming. Please make sure to attend the Battle of the Seven Cities, June 1st, 2019. Grandmaster Jack Dart, 1000 Bowling Avenue, St. Patrick's Catholic School, and that's in Norfolk, Virginia. And the zip code, again, is 23508. Please, please, please get there early because it's going to fill up fast, and there is going to be plenty of things to do. We're the only tournament around right now, and it's going to be a big one. Y'all know I promote this tournament every year. Battle of the Seven Cities 2019. Be there or be square. 2 up, 2 down, as Grandmaster Jack Dart would say. Looking forward to seeing y'all there. Battle of the Seven Cities, June 1st. Come out and win some money. Over $1,200 in cash prizes. Come get it. Y'all know, grand championship, $400 for the men, $400 for the women. Y'all got it. I'm telling you, it's gonna be tight. Come get it. It's gonna be a big one. If you can't be there anyway. Cancel your plans. Go to the beach, play in the sand, build a sand castle, do something. Come on out to the Battle of the Seven Cities because you know it's gonna be good. Listen, If you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. This is D to the J with the roll away. Thank you, Grandmaster Dark. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Curtis. Thank you, Ronald. Thank you, everybody that joined today. For as little as or as lot as you join, you know what I say. If you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. This is D to the J with a roll away, saying see you next week on the Sports Minion Radio Show, Wednesday at 2 o'clock. All right, I will do. Sure, I will do that, Ronald. I'll get that to you right now. And let's see. Please put this information in my inbox. I will do that. And we will talk to y'all later. We'll see you next week. Take care.